already looking at the individual who's about to answer this question. Would you rather be stuck in a forest with a man or a bear? I just, I have no faith. Like, it's to the point where I already know what the answer is about to be. I just want to see how crazy the reasoning's going to be this time. So many times, I feel like people who get these platforms who really shouldn't get these platforms or these opportunities end up speaking the craziest shit just to hopefully get a clippable moment. Because there's no way in hell people believe the certain things they believe. Now, I don't know what she's about to say, but I just know we in for something crazy, and I can't wait to get my 2 cents off. So let's get into it. But before we do, what's the word, YouTube? Young 40 back to mode with another banger reaction. Folks, we're talking about 5 new niggas, new ladies. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Show some love.
With a man or a bear?
With a bear. I've heard about bears. They don't always attack you, right? Unless you like fuck with them. But maybe a bear.
Oh, now if you ask me, that seems kind of embarrassing, huh? Let me get an outfit.
Stop. Stop.
It'll make this whole video make more sense in a second. What's going on, everybody? Now, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but I can't bear to stand and see our current status of men versus women be in a situation like this. But on a serious note, this is the TikTok trend that was going around where people were asking naturally, hey, would you rather be with a bear or would you be with a man? And it's a question that's supposed to be ambiguous and see what the mental state of a bunch of women are, and they've even asked men some of the questions, and I think it's a decent question. We have to figure out why women are saying no, get these people out of their fear, because I think there's a bunch of fear mongering that goes on the internet. But of course, people decided to take that to a whole nother level.
If I were alone in the woods, would you rather me encounter a bear or a man?
I mean, is it a friendly man?
We don't know anything else. It's just man or bear.
I feel more like bear. I don't know, because I feel like I would know what the outcome would be with a bear, even if it was like an aggressive one. Don't know what the outcome would be with like a bad man.
But I think the likelihood of you getting a good man is probably higher than you getting a good bear. Listen, there are a bunch of statistics out there that we can't deny. We talk about SA, when we talk about, just regular assault, when we talk about those things, a woman is more likely to have those things happen to her than a man is. So it does make you want to ponder, well, would you rather be in a situation with, I don't know, an incredibly violent and territorial animal or a man? We're not describing this man. It's disgusting, though, that people's mindset automatically goes to the mentality that this man is inherently evil, because it's almost like we're saying men are inherently evil. And I think that that's a dangerous conclusion to jump to. And I would want to investigate why women feel this way as opposed to feeling a different way. And I would honestly have to agree to some people that have the opposition in this conversation, because when we start to have this mindset and mentality, it skews how we go out into reality, and it skews how we teach the next generation to come up and be brought up and raised.
Don't sound like that lady wanted to choose the bear. Sound like she wanted to choose the man instead. Fellas, would you rather be stuck in the woods with a woman or a bear? Let me know, because I think, you know what? I think I would rather choose the bear. Because at least with the bear's not going to just date me for my money. At first it was questionable. I'm like, dang, what's more scarier, a woman or a bear? Because a woman lies. You know how many football players I've seen get lied on and lose their whole NFL chance and career behind a woman lying?
Meeting hyperbole with hyperbole is never going to...
Before you even get into it, listen. I feel like the football dude was just matching fire with fire. Just like, you sound so dumb, so now I'm about to basically use your dumbness against you type stuff. And that clip of that girl being scared of that bear, that just further proves it. So I don't think he was genuinely serious about that. I know Omar's probably about to get into it. You don't fight that with the same type of intensity, but I mean, it depends. It depends. I'll say, and what I'm saying, not the bear or the woman. I'm clearly taking a woman, but I don't know. I feel like a lot of what social media is nowadays is very negative, very negative, very negative. My TikTok page is probably some of the most heartbreaking things you could ever see. I mean, because of TikTok, because of YouTube, because of Instagram, it is so hard for me to put the cap and gown, the ring on the finger, to pop the cherry, pop that question, will you be my girlfriend, to the significant other? Just because of how much stuff I seen gone wrong for dudes, just how many friends I've seen go through this 3 month, 4 month dating period after knowing a girl for X amount of months, X amount of years, and it's just not working out. Like, so much of the negative side of life and the negative side of human beings gets blasted for years and years, and that's because that's what we look for as individuals, because that's the hot topics, that's the ones that's going to spark, that's the ones that's going to spark the most conversation. So that's what these outlets are giving us. But what we're failing to realize is how skewed that really is. Like, not every man that a woman comes across is going to be a predator. Not every woman a man comes across is going to be out there to cheat, lie, steal. But when all we see online are predators and gold diggers and liars and cheaters and you know what I'm saying? What's the word? Manipulators. Our point of view on what relationships are as a whole, what a woman is as a whole, what a man is as a whole, it end up getting fucked up. So I think it's more of the content that we're indulging in. Cause like I said, for myself, and even the music I listen to, Rod Wave is my favorite artist. You know, I'm not getting no wife till I'm 35. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's for sure the content, and the things that's being published and the ones that's getting the most views and stuff.
Solve the issue. We need to understand what people are feeling like. No, this guy sitting in a car is not an NFL player. No, most likely when he gets divorced, he will not be subjugated to half of his money being sent off in the divorce. And honestly, if we talk about who initiates divorce and why they initiate divorce, it would seem like that man in the situation would be worse. I think that this is a stupid conversation, but I think the worst thing that you could do is meet these hyperboles with another set of hyperboles instead of listening to what the women have to say in these conversations.
Okay, so men have been saying that they would rather pick the bear over a woman, and let's talk about it. For men saying this, y'all don't really mean that. You're just saying it because we said that we would pick the bear over y'all, and that bothers y'all. Women will do things in response to the harm that y'all do, and then y'all want to get vindictive and say, well, we could do that too. We're talking about being assaulted and brutalized by men, whereas y'all are talking about not wanting to be stuck in the woods with a single mother or be stuck in the woods with a woman that would use you for your money.
I do agree that there is some credibility.
And before he said, just so people don't think me and him saying the same thing, but I feel like I already know what he about to say. To that point, there's nobody disagreeing with you. There's nobody going to bat against you, because for a nigga, for a female, for anybody in their right mind to come and oppose what you just said would get flagged on by millions and millions and millions of people. And we're not just talking about females. When you're going into a situation where you are uncomfortable because you don't know what that man is capable of doing in terms of how his mindset is, yeah, if you go into the woods with a predator, you might not escape that alive. And so to anybody who goes against that specific viewpoint and that specific opinion would just be stupid and idiotic and shouldn't even be paid no attention. But that's not the conversation that's being had. The fact that your mind instantly assumed that the man we're talking about is a predator just goes to show how low you think of men as a whole. I feel like everybody understands that there is a good man out there. There is a good woman out there. But what y'all, people are so tied in to the media, like I said, to social media and to everybody else's lives, that what we see is starting to become what we believe, in a sense. What's around us 24/7? What's far-sighted or nearsighted rather to us in our lives and the things that we can constantly connect with 24/7. that's beginning to change our whole viewpoint on the world as a whole. Nigga, there's 11 billion people on this world. You can't tell me 11 billion people are terrible. Even if they're, cut that in half, 5 billion. You can't tell me 5 billion people are terrible. Cut that in half, 2.5. You can't tell me 2.5. Like, you know what I'm saying? So she's not wrong in what she was saying. It's just, that's not what we're talking about. The fact that you instantly assume that a predator was the man that we were talking about in this specific conversation just goes back onto your nasty mindset. What we were talking about is a normal man and a bear. Anybody who picks a bear and you're not LGBTQ, I have questions.
To what she's saying. If what you're not into is getting victimized, assaulted, seeing some sort of physical harm onto you, then there is some reasoning why you would not want to be in a situation with a man. And that's why it's important to vet people when you date. But I think that there is a better way to present this conversation and argument. I understand that it was a little silly TikTok video, but when you present it that way, comparing a man to what we presume to be a violent, territorial, and dominant animal, and then picking the violent and territorial and dominant animal as opposed to the man in this situation, makes the good men feel this way, and it only furthers the divide in the conversation. And although you may have some women that stick up for us in the sense,
y'all doing too much. This hypothetical question about this bear versus man in the forest is about to get a lot of.
And I like that he's incorporating to kind of shed light on what I was saying. The positive publicity, the love, the support, the nurture, all of that shit gets dismissed because you know what gets the views, the controversy, the hot takes, the questions that have people look at their phone like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So to shed light on content creators, specifically women who are like, all right, chill the fuck out, respect that a lot.
Y'all feelings hurt. I mean, y'all women, you are the bear in the forest.
If the overwhelming majority is saying that bears are better than men, then it's going to make a lot of men feel a certain way, especially when this conversation escalates itself all the way up to the View conversation with all these cackling women on the panel.
So there's this clip going viral online of a dozen women being asked the following question: do we need men? Most answered very quickly, no. But when men were asked a similar question, do we need women? Most of them said yes. So why do you think that is?
Because men are useless.
What's crazy is I looked up this woman, Anna Navarro, and she's married to a man. So I wonder what her man would think. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't watch her show often enough for this to be a real conversation, but I also would think that they brought this up to him in the office. What would her husband since 2019 think if she said those things to him or heard that she had said those things? If a man is so useless, then why did you marry your husband? I gotta know, because at that point you would think that this person would stay single for the rest of their lives and not seek any sort of relationship of that manner. That just makes no sense to me.
I want to differentiate between straight men and gay men, because I think I would die without gay men.
Like, and my issue is there's females that truly believe this. Men aren't useful. I see my gay besties. He different. If you genuinely think this world would function without men, you're sadly mistaken. Baby, this world will crumble in 3 days. Baby, this world will crumble in 3 days. If every man got deleted today, how long is the earth going? Like, if we just took a pause, God looked down on earth, y'all did y'all due diligence, and zapped us to heaven. How long do we give it till earth shatters? I give it 1 year. 1 year under strictly females. Strictly females. I give it a year. With that being said, studs and all of them, they're coming with us because they want to be us like us so bad. So we're recruiting. So it's just straight feminine female. I give y'all a year. I give y'all a year. Y'all crash and burn. If all the women were teleported today, right now, I give us a year as well. Probably a little less. No, I wouldn't say a little less. Probably a little longer than females. I don't know. I feel like to lead, to provide, to be this overwhelming force, important and responsible of a lot of people, that emotional shit cannot persist. And I know it's a lot of sassy niggas and it's a lot whatever the case may be, but when the going gets tough, when that true-blooded individual is needed, nigga, every man should be able to step up and put his foot down. The thing with a female is she'll feel one way or say a thing or whatever the case may be, and that's how her day is operating. And you can't tell her no. That is the scariest thing in the world. A female CEO, big boss bitch, can wake up one day and her feelings might tell her completely different than what this company needs. And then she just sold herself off in $1 million deal, a $1 billion deal. Because most females, and not everybody, but a lot of them are entitled to their emotions. And whatever they feel is what they're going to say, it's how they're going to move, it's how they're going to breathe, and it's how they're going to live. It's a lot of moms that feel like they done their kids wrong in a sense because what they felt in that moment might not necessarily have been what their kid needed, but do you know what my mom does when those situations happens? I don't care. I feel the way I feel. What? So it's like, when you ain't got that logical presence that's able to hear out sides and construct a conclusion without necessarily being biased towards his own feelings, their own feelings, you're not going to make it at all.
Nobody can gossip like gay men. Nobody can help you accessorize like gay men. The exception of somebody like Steve. I think Steve is very self-sufficient.
That's Joy's husband.
But like my husband, it takes a village of women to make sure that he's not emaciated, starving, and living in his own filth.
So what was the point of you marrying your husband if you feel this certain type of way? And I know you wouldn't be okay if your husband went to his workplace and talked about you in the certain manner that you talked about him, and then said in response, hey, well, let me clarify, the only thing that I need in my life is a bunch of lesbian women, because lesbian women can accessorize and feminize and do all these other things around you, in which my wife that I have dedicated under oath in front of God to be there for, in order for me to live and to hold. I don't need that. What I really...
Another thing, and this is my last pause, bro. We have to start, and I know this is some kid stuff, but a true fundamental that I feel like a lot of people are losing is starting to put yourself in your other partner's shoes. Really, well, hold on. But yeah, really understand what you're doing, what you're saying. Take a step back and analyze. Okay, if she said this about me, if he said this about me, how would I feel? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I know it's cliche. I know that's childish and stuff, but it's getting to a point where certain things are just ridiculous. You went on live TV, a public broadcasting show where you probably get millions of views, and told the world your husband is essentially a piece of trash if it wasn't for you and the 10 women that come through and make sure he's okay. You actually, no, fuck the 10 women. You yourself, what she said was herself's values is, if she wasn't there, he would need 10 women, basically, is what she said. We don't need your kind, is basically what she said. So to her husband, you're basically a worthless piece of trash that has no value if I wasn't in your life, and if I wasn't in your life, you'd be nothing. In a sense, I mean, I'm going very, very, very direct and very disrespectful, because let's not sugarcoat. But yeah, you pretty much nothing without my tutelage, my guidance, my care. I don't need you. You're useless. Like, I just can't help but imagine if he said the exact same things in a different manner, how she would take that. But that's the thing. A lot of females don't like to look at, and niggas too, but especially females, don't like to look at the other side of the picture. Imagine if it happened to you. But ain't nobody trying to have that conversation.
Be okay. If your husband went to his workplace and talked about you in the certain manner that you talked about him, and then said in response, hey, well, let me clarify, the only thing that I need in my life is a bunch of lesbian women, because lesbian women can accessorize and feminize and do all these other things around you, in which my wife that I have dedicated under oath in front of God to be there for, in order for me to live and to hold. I don't need that. What I really need is lesbian women in my life. I feel like that would make you feel like you are less than shit. And the fact that they allow this to be on like a ABC network in front of a large scale audience is actually very troubling, because there is a bunch of housewives at home watching this as their husband goes out to provide for their family, for them, for the household, and they're putting this stuff in their mental Rolodex as a justification for maybe the next divorce or whatever the case may be. That's dangerous and harmful to people.
Everything, when things go bump in the night, he's the one that goes downstairs. When there's a bug to be exterminated, he does the extermination. When there is something to be fixed, he fixes it. He throws out the trash and he throws out the recyclables.
He's really talking about a servant, let's face it.
No.
It's a handyman she's talking about.
No, it's a handyman. Oh, it's a handyman with benefits.
We do not have... Well, but the things that you're describing, you could pay somebody to do that. We're not talking about that. What about the...
Okay, cool. Absolutely. You are absolutely right. Who are you paying? Not say, cause I work in a machining field, so believe me, I know. I work in a welding, so believe me, I know. Females do this stuff, but if we're going to go off the assumption that you don't need a man, let's not bring up facts that weaken your argument here. See the things that you're talking about when it comes to a servant. Men mostly dominate all those fields. If you want somebody to come exterminate for you, if you want somebody to come do this, the electrical wiring through your crib, if you want somebody to set your cable up, if you want somebody to mow your lawn, if you want somebody to fix your leak, if you want somebody, all of that, how many girls are doing it compared to men? I don't know the ratios in these fields, but I can calmly say with extermination, easily got to be a 90-10. With cutting the grass, easily got to be a 70-30. And that's on the light tip. Girls don't like doing that outside shit. She don't even want to take the trash out. You think she want to cut the grass? So you might not need a husband to pursue happiness and all, but you don't need men in general. The delusion.
The inner life of a man. That's what this is about.
This is terrible rhetoric, reducing your partners to be something small and insignificant when it's really them playing their role, but titling it as something that diminishes who they are in their household. I would want to say, again, what would their husband say if asked this question? But men seem to be more logical in this aspect to know that I shouldn't disrespect my significant other on national television. Only one of them is even pushing back on the concept that I wholeheartedly do need my man, and there's a reason why he is in my life and I have accepted him and I've said yes to being married with him. Because it sounds like a lot of these people don't feel like they should have said yes to being married to their husband. However, they still said yes to their husband. It's funny how she's saying that it sounds like her husband is a handyman and this is the stuff that they would pay to do. Well, ultimately, like 95% of...
Talk to me. Talk to me. Talk to me. And I gave y'all the light tip. 96. Stop playing.
handy people are men in this field. So one, it does sound like you need a man. And two, if we said that, oh, we don't need our wives or we don't need women in our lives, we'll just hire maids for the cooking and the cleaning services. If an overwhelming majority of those things sound like you need a woman in your life because a majority of those maids or maid services are women, it sounds like you just don't like your significant other. So you should probably stop projecting those experiences onto other people and think about the bigger picture. I think it's extremely sad to watch these women on this show and other platforms downplay women who are in love with their husbands. There's even one woman on the show who is still talking about the things that her husband does for her, where she's saying that, hey, my man talks about his feelings. And then naturally, we know what the response is when somebody says that a man is talking about his feelings.
I don't know. My husband talks about his feelings with his
Maybe he's gay.
So even in the situation,
that's why I don't talk about my feelings. That's why I'll talk about my feelings. Look, you gay, you sassy, you feminine, you all these things, bro. You just gotta go through the bad and pray that it gets better. That's as a man, you take your left hook, then you take your right hook, and then you take another left hook, then you take another right hook, then you start to think, okay, I think I can predict what you do. So another left hook come, but you ready for it. Another right hook come, but you ready for it. And then somebody come behind you and slam you on your neck, and you done lost. But bet not shed one tear. Bet not shed one tear. Cause now you a bitch. So it's, I don't know. It's that, but that's why I don't need to speak on myself to nobody anyways, bro. I just
situation where men are trying to be more accommodating to women, it seems like they can't catch a break because now they're labeled as gay, of course. Always bringing out the homophobia in the conversation. I don't think that these conversations are any sort of beneficial. I think that all.
And one thing I know, I keep pausing it, but has anybody ever realized how wishy-washy the word gay is? Like, it is literally the most bipolar word in some of Gen Z. I mean, like this literally has to be studied. One of the most bipolar words ever created. Because depending on the group you are talking to, gay can mean happy, gay can mean a good thing, and gay can mean a bad thing. You, by acknowledging that her man is comfortable talking about his feelings to a group of guys, he might be gay. Basically condemning the fact that he has any like or love for females, because that's just so unholy and so unheard of. The only answer is you're gay. You done labeled a man you have never met in your life, a man comfortable within himself, in his sexuality and his feelings that he feels as though he can vent to somebody he values and trusts, and he's gay. But in another group, that boy all smiley and happy today, gay. But in another group, like, it's just, that word is so bipolar.
All they do is further the divide between men and women.
It can be used to condemn somebody. It can be used to uplift somebody. It's supposed to be respected. Ain't no disrespect supposed to be thrown at that word, but yet we throw that word as a Achilles heel of sorts.
Look, I can understand if there are women out there, and not even are women out there who've had direct experience with some of these assaults and other things like that. That is a scary environment. There's a bunch of fear mongering going on. That's the reason why the home security industry is through the roof. People are buying guns at an alarming rate. People are getting these big, huge guard dogs at a home alarming rate. A lot of people are scared because of the fear mongering that is done, especially on the internet, but in the world today. However, to think that you would put yourselves in a situation where you would A, say that you would choose a bear over a man, or B, say that men are useless, and then C, invalidate other people's experiences with their husbands even when they are happy, says that there's a bigger picture going on and they're trying to attack men in their masculinity. And I'm usually not on that type of timing, but that is a clear indication if I've ever seen one. But let me know what you guys think, because that was outrageous to me.
Wholeheartedly agree. Wholeheartedly agree. Shout out to Omar. W video. But hey, you know how these females be. You know what I'm saying? You can't can't love him, can't trust him, but you can for sure. You feel me? But shout out to Omar. I'll catch y'all in the next video.